What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be bringing you guys an up-to-date settings video of myself and tell you guys why I use all of my sensitivities and why I think they are some of the best you could use to provide you with excellent gameplay on controller Fortnite. If you do like the topics I do discuss in this video, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more daily content that I post on my channel. Now to get right into my controller settings for today's video, I'm going to be showing what seems everyone wants to see, which is the controller sensitivity X and Y. I'll show them on the screen now and give a brief explanation on why I think they are great for your overall controller experience. So for my X controller sensitivity, I rock 0.73, and for my Y controller sensitivity, I rock 0.75. I find that having a sensitivity in the range of 0.7 to 0.75 is the best range to keep your X and Y, as you can easily move your aim around while still being able to control it to a precise spot, which I find benefiting your aim drastically. Having full control and making sure that your sensitivity is not too high for you to handle is one of the best ways that I find to improve your aim and movement. I have been using this range of X and Y sensitivities for over 6 months, which is why I feel very comfortable using them and why I'm able to work so well with them in this range. I would highly recommend hopping into creative to test out the sensitivity that you choose to really get used to the different feel you most likely will be experiencing before hopping into a match. The X and Y sensitivity is really the main sensitivity for the game, as every other sensitivities in the game are really just multipliers for your X and Y sensitivity, which I'll be covering later on in the video. So I would highly suggest really putting in some time and effort to finding the right sensitivity for your style of play and building off of that. If you are more in the style of working with lower sensitivities, however, anything in the range of 0.55 to zero point 0.6 I feel like would give you the better experience, but you don't want it too low as it can offer you very slow and restrictive aim control. And if you prefer a higher range of sensitivity, I would highly suggest any range between 0.7 to zero point 0.85, as I find that having a high of an X and Y sensitivity can cause gradual drift in your screen and cause uncontrollable gameplay. Now that we have broken down the X and Y sensitivity and why I like to use my range of them, we can get right into breaking down the targeting and scope sensitivity. For my targeting sensitivity, I currently have it set at 0.345, and this is something that has really stayed the same for me since it came out, mainly because I like to have the lower range for these sensitivities to have a more controlled and smooth gameplay. For me, being able to track my enemies and always being able to keep my crosshair on my enemy is more important than anything, so making sure that my target sensitivity displays that is important in that manner. For example, so if I find someone gliding down or running around in a wide open field, I want to make sure that my crosshair is on them at all times before I start spamming L2 or whatever. So definitely for me, running a lower sensitivity allows me to make and hit such shots. For my scope sensitivity, however, I have it set near the same amount, sitting at 0.35. I don't really focus much about my scope sensitivity, as I don't really find myself using weapons that require scopes, such like snipers, much often. However, when I do find myself with a sniper, I still want to make sure that my shots are as accurate as possible, which is what sensitivity is really all about. I really wouldn't recommend setting it anywhere below zero point 0.2, as it does get really slow when scoping. It can really affect your gameplay. Even if you don't use scoped weapons as often as you use other weapons, I would still recommend finding what's right for you, and as a starter to that high, I would recommend anywhere between 0.3 to zero point 0.4 to really be able to track and shoot your opponent without ruining your gameplay. To get straight into the next set of sensitivities, we have the building and edit sensitivities. Building and edit sensitivities used to be combined for a very long amount of time until just recently they got separated into different categories. Basically what that means is if your build sensitivity was like 1.8, your edit sensitivity would correspond with that. Currently I have my build sensitivity set at 1.733, and I really enjoy the fast paced yet controllable feel it gives me. I used to have it set below 1.6, however I felt that I could have sped up my builds, to which I tried what I'm currently using. If you are using a lower sensitivity and find yourself struggling to get your timing for your builds down, I would highly recommend trying a higher sensitivity, as it helped me improve getting difficult builds down, such as the infamous double stair wall ramp. As far as my edit sensitivity goes, I have it set as 1.8 to allow me to do speedy edits like tunneling and ramp plus floor. The edit sensitivity I feel like is something that you should personalize based on your style of play. For example, if you're an aggressive type of player, higher sensitivity is what I would find myself most comfortable using, as it can really speed up the time it takes to edit a build on an opposing player. However, factors such as what you find editing the most can also affect what you might like as your sensitivity. For example, if you want to edit walls and stairs quickly, a more mild and medium range for your sensitivity will most likely benefit you more, as while editing floors and cones, a higher sensitivity will more likely speed up your edits. I like to keep mine towards the middle to really make all my edits smooth, rapid, yet precise. Last but not least on the sensitivity list, we got my dead zone. Basically, if you do not know what dead zone is a sensitivity of sensitivity. I know it may sound confusing, but it's the best way I can put it. It is really important that you don't make the dead zone too low, as it can cause major drift in your gameplay. And if you don't know what drift is, basically where whenever your hands are on your thumbsticks, the crosshair automatically moves on its own, causing severe issues while playing the game. Keeping that in mind, I keep my dead zone at 0.15 as I feel like it's the best way to avoid any drift while still getting the best gameplay. It did take a while for me to find my perfect sensitivity, and a good way you can find your perfect sensitivity is really by testing it out by trying any courses. For example, an AR course which primarily focuses on aim and target tracking, or a shotgun aim course which primarily focuses on target tracking and flick shotting, which is also really important if you want to play competitively, as you will find yourself in those situations more often than not. And without further ado, that'll be all for today's sensitivity video. If you guys like my tips and guides on how to find your sensitivity, or if you like what I have on as my sensitivity and decide to use it, let me know down in the comment section down below, and leave a like if you enjoyed the content. I do play non-claw on the default PlayStation controller, so I find myself as a useful guide for many who play the same way that I do. Please turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.